Welcome to Bon Jovi Discussions. Today I have my buddy Jamin for all the way from Calgary, Alberta. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Good, good. You doing good and staying safe and all that jazz?
Oh yeah, doing the best I can.
Well, today we are going to talk about this bad boy right here, Crush. This is the best album in the entire world, which we're going to really have a good discussion today because this I just love this album tremendously.
Me
So
too.
just a little overview to get started. This was the band's seventh studio album, released on June 13th, 2000. It was nominated for I think it was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rock Album, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it won though. And it was originally called Sex Sells. And
Yeah.
if in the real life, which was a song that the band had written or had done for Ed TV, which was a 1999 movie, in that music video, they were promoing Sex Sells, which was their upcoming album, which was
Mhm.
eventually going to be Crush. And then it was also in the backstage with John Bon Jovi magazines that got sent out to people in the mail back then during the fan club. And John was talking about how it was going to be called Sex Sells. And then it got changed to One Wild Night, which was they changed it to Crush after that. But I always thought that they could have also called it Just Older as well, which
Yeah,
we'll
they
get in.
leave for the time in their career, I think.
Yeah, so I think that would have been part. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
It was produced by John Ritchie and Luke Eben, and it was originally going to be recorded, or yeah, produced by Bruce Fairbairn. I can never pronounce his last name, but he eventually died, and so they went with someone new, and that was Luke Eben. And This was also the first album to be recorded in John's new home in Red Bank at the time, Sanctuary Studios 2. It was recorded from 99 to 2000. So we got a lot to talk about, but I'll let you have a second to say, how much you love this album.
Yeah, definitely. This was the album that got me into Bon Jovi really. I was hearing their songs. I got into them around 2008 actually, so pretty late as far as Bon Jovi fans go. But 2007, 2008, and I was hearing their songs on the radio, and I'm like, oh man, I love this. And this one night in particular, I just had to know more. I had to know more than just what's popular on the radio. And I did this deep dive on YouTube, and it was songs like "Thank You for Loving Me" that made me realize they have these awesome soft songs. And my first Bon Jovi album besides Crossroad, my first studio album I bought from them was Crush, and I just fell in love. Of course, It's My Life is a classic, but hearing the other songs that I'd never heard before, like Save the World and Two Story Town and everything like that, just kind of blew my mind that they had these such unique sounds that you don't really hear on the radio as often.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was the perfect time in my life to fall in love with an album like that too, because I was in high school and it had the cheesy love songs and the kind of perfect tone for that time of my life. So everything was super relatable to me, and I'd listen to the love songs on the way back from first dates and everything like that. So it
Yeah.
just has that personal connection that way.
I'll tell my story because this is the album that started it all for me. And
Hmm.
so the way that it had was I was 8 years old, and it was May 18th, 2000 or something like that. And I remember I was sitting in front of the TV watching VH1. This is when they had music videos on VH1. And I remember, the beginning of the "It's My Life" music video, which we're gonna get into that here shortly. But so yeah, I watched this video about this stunt guy trying to get to a Bon Jovi show, and as an 8-year-old kid, I was like, "Oh, this guy really digs his band," and so it was kind of cool just to see him as an 8-year-old kid, just to see him do stunts and jumping off a bridge or jumping onto a garbage truck or jumping off of bridges or whatever. And then the band looked so cool, like the green color effect, and then you had like John and Richie, David and Tika, and it all looked so cool. And so every day I started to wait for this music video to come on VH1 every day. And eventually I got like a VHS like a to record on TV, because this is before DVR. And I remember I finally got it to record, and I replayed it over and over and over. And then so eventually I found out that Crush the album was going to come out, and this is before the digital era too. And so
Yeah.
I remember begging my dad every day. I said, "Please let me get this Crush album. Let me get this Crush album." And I did something bad. Like my dad was like, "We'll see, we'll see." And
Mm.
so I came home one day after it was during summer camp. I went during the day, and I came home and Crush the CD was on my dresser, and I remember playing that on release day in June, and I just like you said, absolutely just fell in love with it from beginning to end. It was just such a great album, and I played that album every single day that summer. And eventually, I knew how much I loved Bon Jovi. My dad had purchased the previous discography, all the other 6, 7 albums that were before it. And so, this is the album that started it all for me. This is what made me find Bon Jovi, and it's always going to be my favorite album because of that. And it's also a really good album too. So that's my little story about how I got started with. I have to say that story because this is what started it all for me as a diehard fan. And 21 years later.
Yeah,
So,
it's amazing.
but we'll get into the album now. So this is pretty much the new evolution for the band. So the band was the biggest band in the 80s. In the 90s, they stuck to their own style, but they had a little bit of a new sound, with Keep the Faith in These Days. And then John Ritchie and David also did some solo albums. Um, and then so 2000 was kind of like a new era. The grunge era in the 90s was done with. And so the 2000s were kind of like poppy, a little hip hop rap type style. I think Bon Jovi had to find. I think they became a little more poppy, which is great. I love the poppy sound. So I think they kind of got more into the pop rock sound, and it was a new generation of fans too. You and I, for example, I'm living proof of a new generation fan, and
Yeah.
uh, and this was also another fun thing about this Crush era. This was the start of the internet era too. So do you
Mm.
remember? Well, if you became a fan in 2008, so you don't really you know it, but you don't remember it coming. So BJTV. Do you remember that?
No, that sounds like before I became a diehard myself, but
Well, there used to be videos on YouTube, but now some of them are gone, but there's still some on there. So BJTV kind of started around 2000 when they were recording this album. So on BonJovi.com, they every so often they would release a video called BJTV, and it would show the band in the studio
mm.
or recording something, or John talking about the upcoming album. And they did that for Bounce. They did that for all the albums up until I think Have a Nice Day, and then they started to do tour videos, like them on tour, and Mike Rue would talk to fans and stuff, and so that's BJT. So BJTV's kind of started from that, and I think it was good for them to get into that internet era as it was becoming a thing because I think it helped their career a little bit. Uh,
Yeah, trying to yeah, it's a good way to stay on top of the times and make sure you're promoting everything correctly.
exactly. So do yourself a favor after we get done talking. Go to YouTube and search BJTV. A lot of the videos are gone. They've disappeared
Mhm.
over the years, but there's still some great tour videos of them backstage, and some in the studio. So there's a version of them recording "It's My Life" in the studio, and John does the verses a little different, and it's so good. But anyway, let's get into the tour. The tour was also a great thing.
Yeah.
I saw the continuation of the Crush tour, which was the One Wild Night tour. But they started this tour in Japan in July of 2000. Yes,
Yeah.
we'll talk about this bad boy in a second. They did Europe in August, and then the US in November and December. Then 2001 became the One Wild Night tour. But as you were just showing this bad boy right here, the Crush Tour DVD, I was talking about the Crush CD, and I remember this came out short, I think the following year, and this is the first DVD that I remember I played this thing over and over, and I'm surprised it still works. But
Yeah,
what do you think of the
as mine
DVD?
does too. I really like it. It was my first time hearing the slow version of Runaway, and I think it's just a really well done production all around. Like the live version of Captain Crash is amazing,
Hmm.
and it makes me wish they played Next 100 Years more often because that
Oh,
is just
oh,
such an incredible song.
yeah. Let's go through the track list here real quick. So I liked how they opened up with Prayer and Bad Name, like in between Prayer and Bad Name, like when John's like, come on, talk to me, and that he's building the crowd up. I love that. Like you
Yeah,
said, Captain Crash, Captain Crash is
people
really
and
fun.
riffs.
Uh,
Mhm.
I also love the version of "I'll Be There for You" on there.
Yeah, that one's
That was
so
a,
good.
and he was still screaming in the bridge before the final chorus, and then like you said, next 100 years. If you ever look at the set list from that Zurich, Switzerland show, there was a lot more songs, but they cut a lot. That should have been
Yeah,
on, But overall, it's still a great DVD. Actually, I might I might watch this tonight. I haven't watched it in a while, so
yeah.
I'm in that
Dude, yeah.
crush mood today.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think let's start digging into the track listing. The first one is "It's My Life," which is the first single. See? Oh yeah, I thought you put on the single.
Yeah.
Uh, "It's My Life." It was the first single released on May 23rd, 2000, and it was written by John Ritchie and Max Martin. And if I'm not mistaken, this was nominated as well for a Grammy for Best Rock Performance by a Duo, and I think in another category, group with vocals. I think it was. And then
Yeah, I think so.
what's so unique about this song, what I really love, is that it was the return of the talk box.
Mm.
And so I love the way that the whoa, whoa, and then it also comes into the guitar solo as well. So that was kind of unique. I think that was kind of like a new Living on a Prayer Part Two, but more with the talk box. And
Yeah,
obviously we see the return
way
of
to.
Tommy. Yeah, and we see the return of Tommy and Gina as
Mhm.
well. Before I keep going more into more of this, what's your take on the song?
I think it's a brilliant song, and it's a showcase that they still got it. Like,
Mhm.
they hadn't had an album in like 5 years if you don't count the solo albums, and this was their way of saying like, hey, we're here and let's show the world who we are. And you're right, the talk box is a brilliant touch, and actually writing with Max Martin was a brilliant touch
Yeah,
too, because he's a huge pop writer.
yeah,
Almost any famous song you've heard in the last 20 years, from Katy Perry to Britney Spears, probably has his name on it.
yeah. Because I think
So to work with the,
he's also written with Backstreet Boys and Taylor Swift, I think too, and a lot of, like you said, a lot of other pop artists. That I
yeah, so
interrupt you.
to work with like a rock band, like an older rock band, was a good move on his part, and it was a brilliant move on Bon Jovi's part to write with him.
Yeah,
As much as I love Desmond Child as well, I think Max Martin was the right choice for that song.
I
And
agree. Especially with getting into that new era, into the 2000s. You needed someone that was working with the current artists and stuff, and that could give you a hit. Um,
Mhm.
Another thing too, instrumentally that I really like about this is Tico on the drums. So like before the first, let's sing a song for the broken heart. So before that line, there's like boom, 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 and then the verse comes in. There's a performance. I think it's either 2009 or I think it's 2009 where they're at like a UK royalty show or something like that, and they do that performance. Well, everything cut out at that part where Tico does the drumming before the first verse, and it was just Tico, and this sounded so good. And so I
That
kind of
sounds
wish they would have done that. I don't know if it was like a tech era or tech error or something, but it was just Tico playing. I loved it. Uh,
Yeah, that sounds so cool.
and
And
another thing too is that I really like is John's passion in the vocals, like in the last part of the song after the bridge, when they do the chorus over and over, like there's just so much passion and emotion. It's powerful the way John sings those lines. It makes you really feel that song and what he's singing about, you know?
yeah, yeah, and he was so the song was so important to him. I love the story that the Frankie said I did it my way was a line that Richie fought him on, and
I know.
Richie was like, nobody knows Frank Sinatra anymore, or they won't get the reference. And John's like, I don't care, it's for me. This is my song. and
Exactly.
then and then by saying just Frankie instead of Frank Sinatra, it can turn into anyone's Frankie in their own lives, and
Yep.
yeah, it just works the way the song came out, and it's a nice personal song for John that also just happened to be like one of their biggest hits of all time.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
way.
Um, let's talk about the music video. So, because like I said earlier, this is the everything that started for me. Um,
Mhm.
I liked how they started. You see the Bon Jovi poster in his room from 1994. I think the picture was from, and then the only thing I always question is like when his girlfriend calls and she's like, "You have 5 minutes," and so I
Yeah,
always thought 5 minutes till what? Like till you can come see the band? Well, the band's already playing, so 5 minutes until the show ends. Or I always wondered what the 5 minutes meant. You
yeah,
know, like they're
that
already
could,
playing. I
yeah.
never understood that. But
Mhm.
it's still a brilliant video. Just the way that it's like it kind of resembles a diehard fan like you and I. Like you and I would do something like if we found out. First of all, we would know way in advance. But if we found out that Bon Jovi was down the street from us playing, we would jump all those obstacles, jumping on garbage trucks or fighting dogs or beating off the Elvis. I better reword that. Um, whatever they did with the Elvis thing in the second verse, and then jumping off that big bridge and rolling under the truck, you know,
Yeah, which
and
is
then
such a
going in
cool.
that tunnel. And I always laugh that he falls into the backseat of a car with like all these thugs, and then obviously he gets pushed out. But I love that. It kind of resembled what how passionate fans can be, and doing anything to get to that show. Uh,
Yeah, it's such a cool way to demonstrate just how much we want to be there,
yeah,
and for Lim, we're gonna be at the show.
yeah,
and
exactly.
uh and yeah, parts of it are like an action movie, like the jumping off the bridge under the truck thing
Yeah,
has always been such a cool moment.
yeah.
The way they film it is almost like something out of a Die Hard movie too. Like it's
Exactly.
just
If you did that in real life, though, I think you'd break your back.
yeah, that's a pretty
Yeah.
high jump he does.
Yeah. But
And my back ain't used to be.
and it's such a fun song live to it. Very anthemic. It's just a loud anthem that you sing along with thousands of others. In front of your favorite band. I love it. Um, I have two favorite lyrics from this song. The first one is "You better stand tall when they're calling you out. Don't bend, don't break, baby, don't back down."
Yeah,
And I live by those words. It's like give it all that you got, and don't let anybody beat you down. It kind of resembles the fall down 9 times, get up 10. And then I also like in the second verse, tomorrow's getting harder, make no mistakes. Luck ain't even lucky. You got to make your own breaks.
yeah, that one's actually my favorite line. It
That's
just it
yours.
sticks in my head even when I'm like just doing something else and I think about, oh, I better get lucky here, and I'm like, no, luck ain't enough. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
it sticks.
Well, let's go to the next track. Say it isn't so, which these two bad
Yeah,
boys right here.
one, two. Yeah.
And yeah, I want to back up too because I want to say how great the photo shoot was for this album. Like, that's
Mhm.
really the reason I'm showing these singles because the artwork and the photography was just phenomenal. One of my favorite pictures
That's
is
the reason I'm wearing this shirt.
yeah, I love that one too. I love this picture right here at the bottom. You know,
Yeah, it's
uh,
perfect.
that's one of my favorite photos of the band. That was actually I remember when I got the Crush, I eventually got another one, and I put that as a little poster in my room because I thought that picture looked so cool. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's get into the second single, "Say It Isn't So," which was released on July 21st, 2000. It was written by John and Billy Falcon. And if I'm not mistaken, this is kind of the start of him and Billy Falcon.
Mm.
They write on future albums after this too. Um, before I dive into this, we'll let you talk about the song.
All right. So this has actually always been one of my favorite songs of theirs because it's just so unique and strange sounding for them. Like it's got this odd almost I don't know if ska is the right word, but it's definitely not a straight rock or pop song. It has its very own unique sound, and the effects they do on John's voice are cool.
Yeah,
And yeah, I just think it's really well done, and you can hear even through the effects like the passion, like, and the lyrics are just brilliant. And I
mm,
remember Crush CD didn't come with lyrics, and my first few times listening to it, I
I
was
know.
just, yeah, I just tried so hard to hear what he's actually talking about. Like, what's he saying about Mickey Mouse and Superman?
The one thing I could never understand was, and thank God there's Google now and stuff. But when
Yeah,
I first heard this album, like that Bathe in Beauty beach on it in a bad B-rated B movie, I
yeah.
still get it's like a big old tongue twister to me. But yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
so
it's so
like
funny.
in the guitar intro to the song too, that dun, 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 dun. I love that. Um,
Yeah, it's
and
such a
then
cool vibe to it.
and the background vocals too in this song are really cool. Like when the band, like "Don't Give Up on Me," "We'll Make It Through," "Couldn't Be Not You." When the band is doing those background vocals is pretty cool. Uh,
Mhm.
this is one of those fun songs on the album. It's more or less, like a fairy tale song. Like all this stuff that you believe and you find out isn't true anymore. Um, and it's also, I think, a knock off to Hollywood. Portraying that Hollywood isn't what it always seems to be and stuff. Like in the
Yeah.
music video. You know, you have all these scenes clashing. You have like the Gladiator, Terminator, Amelia Estevez. I think that was like a Young Guns reference. And then like in the
Yeah.
first verse, and the band is singing, all of a sudden that car just because it shows the band like on this really nice looking place, and then all of a sudden you see the car crashing through, and you realize it's a set. It's not real. Um,
Mm.
and another thing that I like too is like they're filming like I think it's a guy from Friends. I don't watch Friends, so I don't know. And then this blonde woman, and he walks in, and she's like talking on the phone, and then all of a sudden the place goes in flames and cut, and then the fire department comes in and fights the flames. Um, so anyway, so it's all about all these things that you've come to find out that aren't true. About
Yeah.
Hollywood, and also about like relationships too. I think that the relationships really portray in the first verse and chorus. Like "Don't give up on me, don't give up on you. We'll make it through. It couldn't be not you." Um, so
Yeah.
and yeah, like I said, I wish we would have seen this live after the Crush tour. It's a shame that they only did that on the Crush tour. You
Yeah,
know,
it'd be really cool if they did do it live more often. It would be like such a nice shake up to the set list.
yeah, exactly. Um, my favorite line is "Superman don't fly. They did it all with strings. Elvis Presley died. They deep fried the king." Now here's the line that, and I actually had to write this down because it's such a tongue twister. Like some tacky, cheesy bathing beauty dancing on the beach in a bad B movie. I
Yeah.
I can sit here for like 10, 15 minutes and think, well, what does that mean? But it's
Yeah,
fun.
it's such an odd line.
Yeah, but I think it just adds the funness to the song. It doesn't really have to mean anything. It's just funny. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's go to the third track. "Thank You for Loving Me," which was the third single released on November 16th, 2000. It was written
Yeah.
by. Oh yeah, I forgot to show mine. I think we have the same one. There's
Yeah,
another
it
one.
looks
I forgot to
fun.
bring it up, but there's another one too. But yeah, this one's pretty
Awesome.
cool. And but anyway, it was written by John and Richie, and I really love this song acoustic. That
Mhm.
especially when
Yeah,
John and Richie play it acoustic together. Oh man, it's incredible.
yeah,
Um,
it's beautiful.
and another thing too that I really like about this song is the piano intro. The da 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 da. You know, I love that. Um,
Yeah, it's beautiful, and the way they have the guitar in the background to the piano playing so softly. And
yeah, you know, my fiance and I we're getting married here in July, and we're debating on having this song or "Shine" be our wedding song. We're torn between the two, but I think we're leaning towards this one. Um,
yeah, I would go with this one personally, just because
yeah,
I don't know, it's just like more nostalgic for me, I guess. But
yeah.
Shine is awesome, but it's just so new.
Yeah, you know, and the title alone, you know, it's the biggest compliment that you could give someone that you truly love. You know, thank you for loving me. You know, it's pretty much saying thank you for everything. Thank you for, you know, it's bigger than saying I love you, I think.
Yeah,
And
it's such a brilliant sentiment. And
yeah,
if I recall correctly, John said he got it from a Tom Cruise movie or something.
yep. Yeah, and I was trying to think of the movie earlier, and I'm drawing a blank on it. But yeah, I guess he said, you know, he said at the end, you know, thank you for loving me, and that's how John started to write it. Um,
Mm.
But instrumentally, another thing that I really like about this song is how the drums, you know, like it's kind of like a piano acoustic guitar in the first verse and chorus. And then all of a sudden, the boom, 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 boom. I never knew I had a dream. You know, I love the way, you know, that kind of kicks in. Um,
Yeah,
and then John's vocals right before the guitar solos. You picked me up when I fall down. You rang the bell before they count me out. If I was drowning, you would part the sea and risk your life to rescue me. Yeah, yeah, you know, I love that, and then it brings into the guitar, and I always get goosebumps at that part because it's so good. You know,
hmm
love that part.
yeah, it's so powerful the way he sings it, and you can just feel the passion and the love in the song.
Yeah, and you know, and the outro to this album is so. This song, I want to mention too about this album how the outros are so good. Like this one, Two Story Town, Next 100 Years, I Got the Girl. Great outros. But back to this, so I love the outro to this one too. You know how it just um, gives this big punch right to the end, right before it stops, and you just hear the piano fade out. You know, I love that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's really.
what do you think of the music video to this one?
I have a lot of nostalgia for it because, as I was saying earlier, this song is one of the songs that got me like into Bon Jovi, and that was a big part of it was the music video and just seeing like what the band members looked like for the first time in that great detail. Although I don't think it was an HD video back then, but what's cool about it is I love the outfits they're wearing in the video, and I love like the runaway bride kind of thing, and how John and Richie are just kind of observing everything that's going around them as they sing and play. And
Yeah,
I'm a little fuzzy on all the details of the video right now, but I definitely have like that scene of the running bride always in my head.
yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it was filmed in Rome,
Mm,
somewhere in Italy, I believe. But anyway, you know, not everybody can pull off an orange leather jacket, but
yeah,
John Bon Jovi can. You know, he just looks so cool. But like if like you and I were to wear something like that, we'd be the laughing stock of the town. But John pulled that one off. It's a really cool jacket.
yeah.
But yeah,
It's
what
amazing stuff you can pull off.
I wish John or Tico and David were more in the video though, because like you see John and Richie at a table writing and you know hanging out together, but then you don't see David and Tico. You know, you see them throughout the video walking to wherever they're going, and then at the end they all unite. I wish they would have had more visibility in the video. Um,
Yeah, I definitely agree, and that's something I wish they had in a lot of their videos. Honestly, more Dave and Tico would always be nice.
exactly. And this is incredible live. And it's a shame after the Crush tour, it kind of got played here and there, but not very often. Um, I
Yeah, I
remember there's,
think I've heard it itself.
yeah, like there's a Toronto performance, 2011 or 2013, that John, and it's incredible. And then John did it on the Mediterranean cruise a couple of years ago too, and that was really good. And I think
Yeah,
this is one of those songs that John could definitely do live again, and it would be great. As a B stage song. Replace Amen or Better Roses or whatever.
yeah.
Do
Able
you have a
to
favorite?
replace.
You have a
Oh,
favorite
sorry.
lyric in the song?
Um, yeah, I think the sorry, I brought it up here just because I had a feeling you were going to ask me, so I'm just trying to find it again. But I think I never knew I had a dream until that dream was you. When I look into your eyes, the sky's a different blue.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
it's
mine too.
beautiful. Like, yeah, it's like you could never imagine what the love of your life is gonna be like until you find them, and not even knowing what you were dreaming for, but it's all there and better than you would have imagined yourself. So it
Exactly.
says so much in that one small line.
And that's the line that really starts to put the punch in the song because it's very slow going. Then, like I said, the drums go into the second verse, and then when I look into your eyes, the sky's a different blue. And then it starts to cross my heart. I wear no disguise. If I tried, he'd make and so forth. And that's when the song really gives you that punch of
Hmm.
emotion, essentially. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and if it's start kicking in and it just gets better and better as it goes along.
well, let's get into the deeper tracks, which are really good songs. So the next one is Two Story Town, which was written by John Ritchie. Oh, there's two other songwriters on this.
Uh,
Dean Grocki, I think was his name, and
yeah, Rocky and
Mark,
Michael.
Mark Hudson, I think was his name. I like the intro to the one, two, da 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 da, and then it kind of gives me a Destination Anywhere vibe a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely hear that now you mention it.
I I couldn't pinpoint the song, but like just like the guitar, it kind of gives you that Destination Anywhere album vibe.
Yeah,
Um,
it would fit on there.
yeah, the verses in on this song is so good. Like there's a for sale sign on the front door of the city hall. The subway line got graffiti crawling off the wall. I could take the hit, but I won't. I don't want to take the fall.
Yeah,
So the verses are really good on this. And the way I'm going down, 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 down. And I love that. That
yeah.
catch it. What's your take on the song? What's your
Um, yeah, this one I really like because it's relatable because I've lived in like the same city all my life, and I don't know if this song is about a literal town or more about like just the community of BS he's hanging out with at the time or something, but
yeah,
it's just like that relatable feeling about like just getting sick of everything you see
yeah,
and everything you do being the same and just
yeah,
wanting to get out of there.
yeah. The
um
song it's more of a like just a depressed. I'm fed up with this shit stuff, and it's kind of like the song does. It's funny how we say that this sounds like Destination Anywhere album. And it's also funny because the meaning of this kind of sounds like Destination Anywhere, the song, about
yeah,
just getting out of this town and tired of the same old situation and let's just pack our bags and get out of here, you know? Um, so I think it's it's more of a depressed kind of song, but it's also an optimistic type sound, like I'm fed up with it, it's time for a change type thing. Um,
yeah, and you can hear the optimism in the one shot to make a move now. The ghosts are calling
oh
me out. And
yeah, I love that part too.
yeah,
And the outro as well. The did it did it did it. I love that. The way that
yeah.
they kind of do the outro to that one. Um,
And does that song, I might be mixing it up, as in that outro, they have like a record scratch kind of sound in it too, if you like turn the volume up as it's fading. I might be mixing that up, but
I think you're right. I have to listen to it again on loud, but I think you're right.
Yeah. I
So
remember finding that like surprisingly contemporary for Bon Jovi. Like this band that started in '83 just has this like little record scratch sound in their outro. It's like
yeah,
what? So yeah, it's cool that they keep experimenting with stuff like that.
yeah. Um, the next one is Next 100 Years, which is written
Mm.
by John and Richie. I love the. I think Tika really. If you listen to, sometimes I'll listen to a song and I'll just listen to like one certain part. Like I'll just listen to the vocals, or the guitar, or the keys, or the drums. I love listening to this song, just listening to the drums. You know, especially that intro, that dun 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 dun. Dun, dun, you know, I love that. And then
Yeah.
the guitar and everything comes in. Um, this song is just it's so good and it's so underrated. And I
It,
think one of the best parts about this song is the way they kind of redid. Usually, in songs you get the intro, verse, chorus, second verse, chorus, solo, bridge, chorus, done. I love how this one kind of ends differently. How you
it,
have the guitar solo, then you kind of have the final chorus, but it's more of a softer. And then all of a sudden it goes into the band's jam session, which, I mean, it just shows you how great the band still sounds together after 17 years. And so the jam session is another thing that really shines on this song, I think.
yeah. That's one of the highlights of the whole album for me, that jam session. Like the first time I heard it, I literally got chills. Like I was just sitting there peacefully listening to the na na nas, and then you hear this guitar just slide in and the drums kick in, and I'm like, what is happening? This is amazing. Like
Yeah.
you just don't expect it at all, and it just suddenly like blows you away with this magical wall of sound. And I don't
Yeah.
know. It's one of my favorite Bon Jovi moments ever. Like this is probably my second favorite Bon Jovi song behind "I'd Die for You." Like it's just so well crafted.
Yeah. I love, how the band intro comes in, the drums and the guitar, then all of a sudden it goes, and then John goes, time ain't nothing but time. It's a verse and no rhyme, man. It all comes back to you. I love that part. Um, it's, I mean, I'm trying to think of other parts of it. So let's go to the meaning behind the song before we go into our favorite parts. I think it's kind of like another "I'll be there for you," but it's in another words, and I'll be standing here for the next 100 years, which is pretty much, if you're lucky, a lifespan. And so it's pretty
Yeah,
much saying, I'll be here forever, essentially. Um, Another few favorite lyrics of mine are "Change ain't nothing but change, just the faces and the names, but we're gonna make it through." You know,
yeah,
it's
great line.
it kind of that line kind of reminds me of like "I will drive you home." Pretty much saying, longevity wise, and you know we're gonna go through whatever we go through together through life. So, do you have a favorite lyric in this song?
There's so many in this one. It's actually hard to pick like the whole
Yeah,
almost everything of the lyrics here, but I think in the chorus is my favorite line, which is "If it all should end tonight, I'll know it was worth the fight," because it's just like I don't know. There's something really meaningful about it that hits me every time I hear it.
yeah, yeah. You're right. Yeah. The next one is Just Older, and it was written by John and Billy Falcon. And like I told you earlier, I think this would have been a great title for the album, because it was like a new era for the band. And, like, as the title suggests, it's just a band that's older, but they still got it, and like
Yeah,
it's pretty much John saying with confidence, this is who I am, this is who the band is, we still got it, you know. Um, but so I think it would have been a great for an album title. I honestly do. Um,
yeah. It would be a brilliant like just for the timing of the album and everything.
yeah,
So yeah, I think you're right there.
yeah. The song's all about the band's legacy. Like in the first verse, like I hit these streets when I was 17, and been up and down and been in between. After all these years and miles of memories, I'm still chasing dreams. And I think
Yeah,
that's talking about the band's legacy from where they were and where they are now. Um, And in the second verse too, when we took on the world, we were young and brave. 1983 pre. We got secrets that will take to the grave, standing here shoulder to shoulder. That's obviously about the band too.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so and the drum intro is another great drum intro too. That you know, and I remember seeing them in 2000 Pittsburgh 2011, and this is when you didn't know what the band was going to open up with, and they actually opened up with this song. It's a great opener, I thought.
Yeah, I actually got lucky seeing this song live on the Circle tour in Edmonton, I believe, in 2009. I was
Yeah,
not expecting to hear it, and I was just like, yes.
yeah. I love the bridge too. You know, when I look in the mirror, I like what I see. There's a few more lions staring back at me now, and blah blah blah. I love the whole Coach T line. If you see Coach T, tell him I've got my hair, and then
Yeah,
live he goes tell him that I've cut my hair. Oh no, it's in the album. It's I cut my
yeah,
hair,
the other way around.
and then live it's I got my hair. That's right.
Yeah.
And then I love that ha
I
right into the final
always,
chorus.
yeah, the crowd
Uh,
always screams when he sings that line about his hair too.
yeah. And, and at the end of the song too, the na na na, yeah, I love that part too. Um, one line that I really take to heart and live by is, "You can't win until you're not afraid to lose." Like
Yeah,
pretty much
brilliant.
you don't know until you try. And if it's kind of like that woulda, coulda, shoulda. You can't win unless you're not afraid to try or be afraid to lose. You know.
Yeah. And
Um,
my favorite, or one of my favorite parts, is the after all these years and miles of memories, I'm still chasing dreams, because it shows that John's just nonstop. Like he was already on top of the world, and he's like, no, I'm still chasing more dreams. We're not done yet.
exactly. Still, he's always got that battery on his shoulder, that chip on his shoulder, and always is looking forward. So I'm glad you brought that line up too. The next one is Mystery Train, and it's written by John and Billy Falcon. This is truly very, 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 very underrated song. It is
Yeah.
incredible. Um, John has actually said in interviews that this was his favorite song on the album.
Wow.
Uh, I think he's writing about Dorothea in this song. Um, I'm trying to think. The intro, is really good too. The way the
Yeah,
keys
just
and the
starts
guitar.
real slow.
Yeah, and the way just the keys and the guitar kind of blend well together. From if you listen from the first track all the way to the sixth track, just older, you get more of a pop rock type of sound, and then this one kind of has like a new sound. I don't know how to put a nail on it, but it has a different
Yeah.
vibe to it, and I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. This one's almost like a adult contemporary kind of song, like that kind of vibe of like you're just listening to chill songs in the background. But this one just hooks you in with its unique sound. And what I love about this one is John's like slow kind of lower vocals in this one, like the way he sings like "Nights When She's a Scream" and stuff like that. I don't know, the voice is so soothing. One of my favorite things to do with this song, and She's a Mystery as well, the two mystery songs, I close my eyes and just let the song play and like don't do anything else, because they just take me to another world.
I know it's like I'm trying to think of it. Just kind of like a soothing, like to a whole like a dream world essentially. That's
Hmm.
like it gives you. The one thing I don't understand with the song is like we're not in Kansas anymore. Is that like a knock or like a touch to the Wizard of Oz? Or I always understood what that line meant. Like we're not in Kansas anymore. I love the line. Don't get me wrong. I love the way it's sung, and I never understood.
Yeah,
That's the one part. I was like, what? But my
yeah. I
favorite.
think,
What's that?
sorry. I think the meaning behind it might be that like you were saying, the Wizard of Oz. She says that when she realizes she's in this whole new world.
That could be it.
So it's like, oh, I'm in a whole new world with this love that I'm in, or something like that, something along those lines. But I'm not fully sure either.
Right. So the next one is Save the World. And this was technically a fourth single, but it was only released in Japan to
Hmm.
promote Crush. It was written by John. I think it's another song that's very, very, very underrated. Even in the diehard fan base, it's not that popular of a song, but I think it's great. Um,
Yeah, it
I
kind of
think,
surprised me it's not more popular actually,
yeah,
because I think this is one of their better ballads.
like I think the verses are kind of similar to Just Older, like saying this is who I am, like in the first, I never went to college, I don't have a degree. Let's say I went to night school, I learned a lot what I know on the streets. I wasn't
Hmm.
born, just pretty much saying this is who I was and this is who I am now. Um, and I like how it picks up into the chorus. You make me like I could, and then it's like this punchy, powerful chorus.
Yeah,
Uh, and I love the way John sings at the end. Like he's got this ball of energy and emotion. Like when he's singing "Save the World" and he holds the note in the world, and then when he
yeah,
says "Yeah, yeah, yeah," I love that. And so I think that was another great outro on this album.
yeah, definitely. It's such a powerful outro, and you can
Yeah,
just feel the emotions as he's going, and it's another song I can just kind of get lost in, just
yeah,
listening and dreaming and stuff like that. And I think one of the reasons I love Bon Jovi so much is I'm a hopeless romantic myself, and songs like this and so many others on Crush are just perfect for that kind of vibe.
yeah.
Like just
It's such a great love song. One of these, the a lot of the love songs on this album isn't about any breakups. It's just about how much you love your significant other. And that's what. And
yeah,
then this whole song is about life ain't worth it without you. Because of you, I feel like I could save the world. And be my best. So like, essentially, you make me feel like I'm on top of the world and that I could save the world and be the best that I can be. Um, I really love the line. I love the lyric, and I also love the way that it's sung. Our love is even stronger than God hoped it could be. All it takes is a little faith in me, like I can save the world. I love that line.
yeah, I love that line. And I love that leads right into the guitar solo too, because, or sorry, that's not the guitar solo part, but it does lead
Yeah.
into like a pickup in the music, and it's just
Yep.
so powerful.
Yeah. Um, let's go to the next one. Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars.
Yes.
I like this song. I like it better live. It's not one of those songs I always go to listen to. I like it, but I prefer to see it live more than just listening to it. It was written by John and Richie, and it was kind of. I think it was kind of like. I think he was trying to bring like a whole new character. Besides the Tommy and Gina. Captain
Yeah.
Crash, Beauty Queen from Mars, and kind of like Say It Isn't So. Just kind of one of these fun songs and make up these funny names. Like Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars. But I think it's just facing the world together. These two characters. Obviously, a very fictional song. Uh,
Hmm.
new. It was kind of like a new song. I think they were kind of trying to come up with a new songwriting technique. I'm drawing a blank. Like the end of the line. Let me pull up the lyrics real quick.
Yeah.
Um, because I want to touch base on one of the lyrics.
This song definitely has a very quirky sound to it, and that's something I enjoy about it.
Yeah, and so at the end, like that's why I wanted to pull up. So I want to make sure I got it right. We're Sid and Nancy, Fred and Ginger, Clyde and Bonnie, Liz and Richard, Kurt and Courtney, Bacall and
Oh,
Bogey, John and Joe, and Miss Monroe. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's just fun to sing along to. And what I really like about the song live is the way that John will swing his guitar back and forth, and then you see people doing the same thing with their hands. I
yeah.
love.
That's
Um,
it's so fun to be a part of the crowd for that.
Yeah, and I love the reinvention of the do do do. Like they do it in the Two Story Town. They do 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 do. But they also do it with Captain Crush, but in a different way. Uh,
Hmm.
do do do. Now I got the Two Story Town, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Where they do it in Captain Crash. Um, my favorite line in this one is they're drunk. they're drunk on love as you can get, getting high on lust and cigarettes, living life with no regrets. At least they're going to try to fly.
Yeah, that's a really fun part. And like the way he brings up his vocals when he says the to fly part is so cool.
Yeah. Um, Next one is She's a Mystery, and this is written by John Peter Stewart and Greg Wells, I believe. I think this is the most. I always get Mystery Train and She's a Mystery. I think they both kind of have the same meanings. I think a lot of this was about Dorothea. Um, and
Yeah,
I
surprised
always,
if he was both at the same time or took ideas from the others.
yeah, but I think it's probably one of the most relaxing songs on the album. Um,
Yeah,
and it's like I said, a continuation of Mystery Train. I think I think this one's more about you can't put it down who she is, and she drives you crazy in a good way. So essentially, it's pretty much she's always surprising you.
hmm
You're not expecting the same old every day. This is who she is, but she's always surprising me. Essentially, of new things about her. Um, I love the line. She's anything in the world that you can't explain, but when she throws me a smile, it's like fire in the rain.
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, you have anything you wanted to say about this song?
Yeah, this is another song where I can like just get so lost in, like I said with Mystery Train, I can close my eyes and imagine myself. And I always imagine myself like lying on the beach when I listen to it because of the line like she wears white flowers in her hair and throws them to the sea. So I can like visualize that part so well and like see myself on the beach watching the girl do that almost.
Yeah,
It's really good visual storytelling in the song for sure. And yeah, another very relatable song because I'm sure we've all had romantic interests that continue to surprise you, or like there's things that baffle you about them, and you're just like, what
yeah,
is this girl? Oh no.
exactly. And that's what I mean by the whole like surprising thing. Like it leaves you in suspense. So the next one is I Got the Girl, and this was written by John. And you and I both know this was about his daughter Stephanie.
Yeah,
Uh, it's another fun song on the album. It has that catchy chorus, and you can't help but sing along to it. Um, I love the way the band sings along in the chorus. And they go, "I got the girl." I love that. Um, I think it's a very under. I think it's kind of a forgotten song in a way. Uh,
yeah.
yeah. What's your whole thing on this song? Like, what do you enjoy about it?
Um, I enjoy almost everything, honestly. This is such a fun song. Especially when you realize it is about his daughter. The first time I heard the album, I didn't know and I was very confused because there's like I thought it was a love song, but there's little lines that would make no sense that way.
Yeah,
Like
like the Holy
the five
Mother of Saint Bubblegum and
says.
Sister Band-Aid Knees.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, what is he talking about? But then when you realize that it's about his daughter, it all clicks and it becomes a beautiful song. And yeah, that part that you mentioned there is my favorite line. Holy Mother of Saint Bubblegum and Sister Band-Aid Knees. Like,
Won't you please pray for the ones that
who thinks of stuff like that? it's
and
so it's so random but cute and fun. So
yeah, it's kind of like say it isn't so with the whole bad B movie line. Like, what does that mean? But hey, it's fun to sing along to. I dig it. Uh,
yeah,
I was surprised and glad to see that this came back and his daughter was at the show, Stephanie, in 2017 in
Mhm.
Vegas, and he had
yeah,
up on
I heard that.
stage. Yeah. So that it was kind of interesting to see that song come back because before that you thought, oh my gosh, this song is forgotten about, and John probably doesn't even know it exists, and so forth. Um, but yeah, the next one is One Wild Night, and it was written by John Ritchie. And this is actually going to be the second idea for the album or the album title. First, it's gotta show the artwork.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
love it.
actually those singles myself yet, so it's cool to see.
It's I love the intro. It's kind of like that cha 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 music. The dun, 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 then all of a sudden it goes into the rock sound.
Yeah.
And besides "It's My Life," because I thought that was a great opener for the album, I think this would have been a kind of a cool opener for the album as well. Um,
Yeah, it could get you into the vibe and the party kind of zone for just getting you listening and stuff.
Yep, exactly. And I love the guitar solo on this song too. And Richie uses I forget what you call it, but like the finger thing, and he uses that for like I'm not flipping you off here. The way he plays the guitar with that. Um, it's just a
Yeah.
fun party song essentially.
Right. Yeah, it's I keep saying this because it's just a unique album overall for them, but this song is also unique for them because they don't usually do like party vibe kind of songs. I guess they
Yeah.
did it again on Lost Highway, but this was kind of new to them to just make a song straight up about partying for the first time since 99 in the Shade and just like have those wacky lyrics like rolling the bones with Jimmy, no dice, take him for a couple of weeks pay. And it just brings you into that little world. The music video is another thing that's kind of unique for them. It was a little more risque than they usually go down.
Yeah. But I think it was like an intro, kind of like how they did with "It's My Life" when they did like the live stream of Bon Jovi in that video. They touch base on the internet world in this one too, where the guy is filming his whole experience. And that's where we are on social media these days. Is something happens,
Mm.
we post about it. We share our whole. Well, I don't, but a lot of people share their whole lives on social media, and so like you see this kid who's new to the internet world, and he's filming his whole life experience, his whole party night live. So
Yeah.
everyone watch it live streamed, and so it's kind of cool. It like you
Yeah.
said,
Some
risky, but it's
ahead of its
funny.
time that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the line, "If you lose this role, I'll take your girlfriend home." So I stopped. You're not gonna believe who comes walking out. It leaves a mystery, like what happened. But you know, I love
Yeah.
that. It's a fun song.
Yeah.
Um,
I love the reference to the Twilight Zone as well. And one of my first online friends I made through Bon Jovi fan sites on Tumblr and stuff went by the username Hey Say La Vie because of this song. So every time
oh,
I hear that, I think of like one of my best friends that I made there. So
that's funny.
yeah, it's a cool little connection that way.
And I also love the end of the song too, because this is where they end the album U.S.
Mhm.
edition. The way that I want to talk to you about James Brown. Now James will hear and be a hit. I wonder, is that Rich or is that Tico?
I've always wondered that too,
I
because
think it's
it does sound
Richie.
a lot. Yeah, when I first heard it, it sounded a lot like Tico to me, but the more I hear Richie do his goofy voices in interviews, the more I think it is Richie.
Yeah,
And
I think it's Richie
I
too.
love
I like how they did that. Kind of like a little tribute to James Brown. Just something fun and something stupid to put in there. Um,
yeah, it's totally unnecessary, but it's just a cute little moment.
Now we gotta just touch a base a little bit on, because there was a lot of great outtakes from this album that didn't
Yeah,
make the album.
yeah, I got a couple different versions. This one, the German edition, just has "I Could Make a Living Out of Loving You,"
Yep.
so it stops at 13 tracks, and then I got this Japanese one that has Neurotica, and not that this is as relevant, but it also has a second disc live from Osaka, and it's just like 6 songs from the Crush
Yeah.
tour. It's a cool little bonus there.
I should I
But
should have brought I should have brought mine up too, because I have those. I have the UK edition. I have a 2 disc edition that has some live songs. It has Neurotica in it. Um, but the UK one is pretty unique because it has like these remixes for "It's My Life" and "Say It Isn't So."
mm,
Have you heard those versions? The mix, the UK mix.
I don't, I don't think I have. I'm just gonna like see if it's on any of these singles here. But yeah, I don't think I've actually heard those, which
You
is
gotta go to YouTube,
surprising.
my friend. YouTube. So some other good songs too. Like "I Could Make a Living Out of Loving You." That was my favorite.
Mhm.
Neurotica. uh, Welcome to the Good Times. I think that was no, that wasn't Armageddon. That was Mr. Big Time.
Uh,
And Do It To Ya was a unique song. Uh,
yeah, that's a
do
good
you
one.
have a favorite outtake from this album?
Um,
Because
it
I know,
might have to be. Yeah, there's a lot. It's actually hard to say, but for the ones that actually made any additions, Neurotica is a huge one. And then there's one I'm trying to think of that I know I love it, but it's got kind of a longer title and I'm having trouble remembering it. So I'm just gonna look up their outtakes real quick here.
sure.
But
Yeah,
Neurotica, I'll just talk about that to save time while I'm looking at this.
yeah.
Um,
There was
it's
Stay and Hush.
yeah,
Was really Stay. I think should have made the album. I think it was, it had that powerful chorus, and you know, I like that one.
yeah, that's a really cool one. Uh, I really wish I could remember the title of the other outtake I'm thinking of.
That's okay.
Like, yeah, but I'll think of it later when I'm lying in bed at night and be like, I didn't make the video. But
Exactly,
that's all.
exactly.
Yeah,
But yeah, so overall, this is such a good album, and yeah, I'll never be able to speak highly enough of the album because it's so good, and it's obviously for you and me, this is the album that started it all for us, and it's so
mhm.
monumental in the way that we are as fans. So yeah, it's a great album, and I hope we get like a special edition on this one day. Like last year, I don't know if the pandemic had ruined it, but I wish there was plans to do something like they did for New Jersey, where they had like
Yeah,
3 disc, a DVD, and then outtakes and demos and stuff like that. So it's definitely a huge thing in the band's history.
yeah, definitely. And I love an edition like that too, because as we said, there's just so many outtakes that didn't make the cut. Like it could have been a double album like New Jersey was planned to be. So yeah, an edition like that, like a special deluxe edition would be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, buddy, it was good to talk to you. It was good to have you on again. I know you've been on before, so I want to say thank you for coming on today, and I hope you stay safe. And I hope you, me, and Ash, hopefully we have another Jovi trip here next year
Yeah,
and get to all see
yeah, I
each other
really
and
think
hang out.
that.
Our own
Yeah,
little,
thanks so much for having me.
yeah. Well, stay safe, okay, buddy.
I will, you too.
All right, bye.